I'm concerned about my sons and the time they spend on their personal broadband connections, on their computers.
Well, you would be. Since you're not on the leading edge and they are, you don't understand it.
Yeah. My work is online, so I'm really online more than anybody else in the house. My concern is that they have so little, as far as I can tell, variety in their experience.
Maybe, but it's none of your business.
Thank you. That's what I needed to hear.
The thing that's interesting is that, so this internet is this new frontier, and it is the most leading edge, most exciting place on the planet right now. So it follows that as people are living life and this is beginning to take form, that those new generations are feeling sort of intoxicated by all of that. And nobody else gets to choose what's ringing your bells. And if other people try to get in the middle of what's ringing your bells and say to you, I know that's ringing your bells, but that's the wrong ring. You should listen to something else. You should do what I think you should do instead of what you want to do. That's the whole reason that we meet with so many dysfunctional people now. Just kidding, you're not dysfunctional, but you know what we mean. In other words, people have a hard time being willing to be selfish enough to do what they want to do because they're trying to jump through all the hoops that somebody else has set there for them. And yet this is an exact example of that. You have to understand that you cannot possibly understand why something calls another. Because you haven't walked in their moccasins, you haven't lived their contrast, you haven't birthed their desire, you are not their inner being calling them forward, you do not know about their stream, you don't know who they were exactly before they were born, you just don't know what's in their vibrational escrow. So when they're called to something and they are exuberant about it, know that they are answering the call of Source and let them answer it, even if their call of Source seems different from yours. And it will always seem different because you all have your individual calls from Source. Isn't that nice to know? Parents say, oh, I'm not sure if what you want is good because I don't want it. And children look at you and they say, please tell me you're kidding. How could you possibly want what I want? You don't even know what I know. You don't even know who I am. You weren't even born when I was born. You weren't even part of the leading edge vibration that I was born from. You haven't lived in my shoes. You don't know what I've given birth to. You don't know what's in my vibrational escrow. You can't hear my call of Source. Please leave me alone. And the best parent in the world will care about them. You can't not. But the best parent in the world will know that they have Source and that they have Source calling them. And you will work every day to be a catalyst to help them connect to that Source. But you will not try to dictate to them what that Source says as it calls. Now, it's a different thing if you see a child depressed or if you see a child discouraged. But eagerness for something is never a bad sign.
The last week or so, I have made their computers off limits till school starts.
So what you're teaching them is that they can give birth to desires, and the Source will call them toward their desires. but there's somebody else in their experience that can prevent them from going. And what they will show you is you're not big enough. They'll go next door. They'll go to the library. They'll find a friend. They'll find other means that you will call devious because the call of source is that strong. So the stakes just get bigger. The call of source wins, and then you get stronger. And then the call of source wins, and then you get stronger. Pretty soon you got a war in the Middle East. Do you know what children want more than anything? They want you to know that they know. Because they're born knowing, and they still believe that they know, and they're still intuitive. And when you say to them, well, I might have chosen a different way, but I can see your clarity, and I can see your power, and I believe in your ability to make choices. And I can't see your road very well from my vantage point. I trust you. Can you imagine how that must sound to a child who adores you, who's being torn apart because Source is calling and somebody else that they love is not wanting them to go? Do you fear so much that if they followed their natural intuition that they would go wrong? So many parents do. So many parents believe that what's downstream is bad stuff. We've never seen children go astray who weren't pushing against parents or pushing against some authority. The jails are full of them. And really, as we watch parents and children, we know that the children are the teachers because the children still remember the call. The children are much more likely to be in alignment than the parent, and it's so odd to watch the parent laying down all the rules when the children really have all the answers. Talk about a generation gap. But there is nothing in all of this universe that you need to be guarded against. You do not need to guard your children against anything. And if we were standing in your physical shoes, the only thing that we would be aware of is that we do not want to be guarded about guardedness. In other words, being guarded is the resistance that keeps you from your natural well-being. So if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would go to our children immediately and we would say, I've rethought this. We would say, my impulse is to protect you from being absorbed into too narrow of a life. But the flaw in my reasoning is that you should see life through my eyes, which you can't do. And conversely, my flawed reasoning is that I could see your life through my eyes, which I can't do. So I've decided to let you use your own eyes and live your own life. So, I love you. Be well. I'm setting you free, my chickadees.